Hi! Well, would you like to turn the extraordinary into the extraordinary? That's what I'm doing today. I am going to be using the Extraordinary Flora stamp set, coordinating dies, and the washi tape that coordinates. So this stuff is really awesome. It helps you take a project and just turn it into something truly stunning. It's really cool to use, lots of different ways to use it, and I'm going to show you a few. So come and hang out with me. You are not going to want to miss these creative twists. My name is Julia, and I'm with Julia Sue's Stamping. I can't wait to see how you use these products yourself, and tag me. I want to see it. I want to hang out with you and help be your creative coach. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Everything I use is Stampin' Up! I live in Northeast Ohio, just to give you a quick background. It really doesn't matter, but you know, some people like to know where you're from when you're doing videos. Let's see. Oh, if you are watching the premiere, then please head over to the live chat. I'm there. I would love to hang out with you, hear what you've been creating lately, chat for a few minutes, and one of the most important things is answer your questions about the things I'm going to be showing you. If you are watching the replay, then please leave a comment. I will respond to you just as quickly as I can, which is usually pretty quick. I would love to hear what project is your favorite. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to be here with you, and I can't think of anything else, so let's get started. What I found that works really well is to have a piece of cardstock, whatever color I'm using for the base, to be around 3.5 inches by about 5 3/4. And then I'm going to pull out the washi tape, and I'm going to lay it down so it is you know, about maybe 1/4 of an inch away from the edge of the cardstock. Put the washi tape on down, and then I'm going to smooth it out a little bit, pressing it outward as I go, because I'll be able to finish that off with the bone folder. Then I pull it up, take a look at where I want to trim it off with the paper snips. Set that aside for a moment. Finish smoothing it out. Then I'll use the bone folder to take any of the rest of the wrinkles out of the way, or any kind of bubbles that might be there. And that works out really well. It's very quick. See how bright it is? And then the Coral Calypso looks absolutely gorgeous as well. I put it on some acetate or some window sheets, and you can see how well it works with that. And it is clearer though, and it will take on more of the color of whatever I put it on. Time in my mind to cut them out. So I've got the dies here, and I'm going to place it on top of the plate. Now, one thing that I really enjoy with this is that I can use the small cut and emboss machine and line it up. I like to use a little bit of post-it tape. I'm going to just put that tape down there, and another one at the other end. So I'm going to use the cut and emboss machine on the video, which I don't do very often. When you are using the mini, you want to sandwich your cutting plates in a way that is like a C shape. So the bottom is going to stick out a little bit more, and then you've got your plate number 1 is going to stick out like to my left a little bit, and then I've got plate number 2. It's going to be more to the right, and then plate number 2, the second plate number 2, is also even with the bottom plate. So you see how it's like a C shape, it goes down and then out like that. That's so that when it goes in, it will squish this down together and help feed it in better. and then take it in and cut. You do want to also make sure that your plates are flat. So it's one of the reasons I can also use my mini, because I don't use it quite as often and my plates are flat. Or just have a new set of plates, whatever works for you. And then look how beautifully these all pop out. And I have all this like ephemera that's floral and beautiful, ready to use on a project. How fun! The first card that we're going to do really quickly, and remember, all the supplies and all the directions are listed, so please check it out. This is 4 1/4 of Pretty Peacock by 11 inches on cardstock, and I have scored it at 5 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and use the bone folder to make it nice and tight. Bringing in the paper trimmer, I'm going to cut a 2-inch piece off of the front. So I know exactly where my fold is. I bring it in to the 2-inch mark, and I'm going to cut down to where the fold line is. And you can do that with the trimmer very easily. It has these little lines. Just bring it down even with your fold. Excellent. And I'm going to bring it back up. And now I'm going to cut off that fold. So I put the line on the line of the card middle on the line of the paper cutter. And now I'm going to bring it up and cut as well, meeting that 2-inch line. And there it is. I've cut 2 inches off the front of the card very easily. And with the piece of 4 1/4, well, and with the piece of 4 by 5 1/4 designer series paper, I'm going to tuck that on the inside of the card. This is the Perennial Lavender designer series paper. And taking a piece of designer series paper from the same pack, which has been cut 2 by 5 1/4, I'm going to put that on this cute little piece that we have left from trimming the front. Next, we bring in this little mini card. I've done mine in some Blackberry Bliss. It is 5 1/2 inches by 4, and then keeping the 5 1/2 inch, that's where I scored it then, along that long side, right in the middle, down to be 2 3/4. I had to do some math. Not my best thing, but 2 3/4 is that piece, and then it's going to get adhered right inside here. So we'll place it around the middle of the inside front panel of the card with our little mini piece. And then of course a panel of some basic white to go inside of there. That's been cut to be, I think it's 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. Plenty of room to write a short message. And a second panel of the basic white to go on the front of the card, so that we have plenty of room to decorate and make it look all fancy. I'm going to use glue dots and start laying them on. So just placing them everywhere I think would be fun, overlapping the side a little. Got something on there. And it's so easy with these glue dots to have some fun with these, putting them on, overlapping the pieces some. And then of course some will be raised up with dimensionals. So it's just like having packs of ephemera ready to have some fun and decorate however I feel like putting them on, which is really awesome. And then for the sentiment, I have a piece of basic white and a third little piece of the Designer Series paper, as well as some Blackberry Bliss ink. I'm going to have a mat underneath here so it's a little easier for stamping. Comes out a little more clearly if I've got something underneath there. I'm putting the congratulations over toward the right side and pressing down and up. That looked very, very nice. And then I'm going to place it on top of this piece of, I wanted to cut it is what I wanted to do. So I'm going to take them down here toward the edge, and I'm going to, they're even, but I know that I have cut this white piece a little bit smaller. So I'm going to make a banner. I'm going to cut a banner here by snipping it in and then cutting in and turning it over to the other side, carefully keeping them together. All right. And now when I press that in, it's cut perfectly at the same angle. There, that works. Okay. Go ahead and adhere this to the end of the little piece of Designer Series paper. Great. Okay, and then I think I will place that on here in this way. So again, some adhesive, pressing it down onto the card. Beautiful. Okay, now I'm going to take this last piece and I'm going to have it go over a little bit there, but I'm going to lift it up with some dimensionals. So got a dimensional here, press that up, and a little mini dimensional I'm going to put on the end. All right, there. Decided I want a couple more pieces of the foliage in here, and I love having the ability to just put more in if I want or not, and so using just a tiny bit of the glue, I'm going to slip this underneath here so that it's making it a little bit more full looking, and then I'm going to use some of the tape runner adhesive here all the way. It's going to head down to the bottom of the card. Now I'm going to lift this up with a dimensional, a little mini one. Maybe. I have to get the backing off. Excellent, there we go. With a little flower there. So I really love how this card turned out with all of the beautiful embellishments. It's so fun and a nice space to write with this fun fold. I've also created it here using the Celebratory Sips Designer Series paper. So you can see with the berry burst background, I use the same color here with 3 different pieces of the DSP from that packet. And again, a really fun card, totally different feel, same message, but how cute is that? All right, this next card is really quick and easy. The cardstocks are some basic white and some basic black using the Extraordinary Flora stamp. I've got the big one right here, and that's what we're going to be using along with some brushes, some gorgeous colors of ink, but starting off with Memento. I'm going to go ahead and ink up the stamp, and I'm going to take the ink to the stamp because the stamp is bigger than the ink. So it's easier in this case to take the ink to the stamp. The smaller item generally goes to the larger item. Closing that up. Now, I want to make sure I get a nice crisp image. So in order to do that, the easiest for me is to bring in something to stamp on. I'm going to use a little bit of the grid paper because my paper is smaller than my ink is, lay the paper down that I'm going to be using, and then I'm going to put the inked up stamp down onto it and press firmly everywhere that I can. All right. Oh, that turned out really, really nicely. Measurement there, but I'm going to go ahead and cut that. So it's around halfway, not quite, but that's okay. And now I'm going to turn it, keep it kind of together, and again, I'm going to try to, make it around halfway-ish. If it's not, I'm not worried about it. I think this is such a pretty card no matter what. So lay that down. Good. Okay. I have my 4 pieces of the card front. Bringing in one of the inks, I'm going to use the Pool Party to begin with, the lighter blue. I'm going to go ahead and put some on my brush, and then I'm going to layer it beautifully onto this card front. Just nice layer of color. And for the summer splash, so I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to put the summer splash onto this piece here. I can use the same brush because it's a very similar color and it's a little bit of a darker one, so I'm not going to be damaging the brush or anything. Nice. And another piece. I'm going to put that gorgeous color on. I like to start off the paper, and I've got a little pressure with my finger behind the brush. A soft seafoam is such a soft, pretty color in there, so yay! This is really pretty. Okay. And ending with a nice bold bit of lemon lolly twist. Once again, blending it right onto it. There. Okay. I have these 4 pieces now that I have colored, and I'm going to layer them onto a piece of basic white cardstock that has been cut to be 3 3/4 inches by 5. So I simply get the edges to come together, layering this on there. All right, and I have this other piece is just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it's going to show the white underneath it just a little bit, which is what I want. I want it to be separated just a little bit. And now for this piece, go on here, same thing, nice. And the last one, placing it on there. Yeah, I like that. Now I'm going to put all this on top of a basic black panel. And finally, that will go on the card base. Of a thick basic white. Go right on there. Okay. Inside is going to continue the theme with the black and the white. It's been cut the same size as the front panels. Using the blooming phrases, because I really liked this little hello there, I've got the stamp, some memento, and a piece of basic white scrap paper that I found. So I'm going to ink up the stamp, and I'm going to kind of eyeball where I want it to go on there. Oh, that's beautiful. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of basic black that I want to use, and I'm going to put the two pieces together, and I'm going to trim it at an angle for some fun. Now I know they're going to be at the same angle, so I like that because I cut them together. And it is just a little bit longer here, so after I adhere it, I'll just snip off that piece. So putting that on there with some adhesive and onto the piece of basic black. That is also a little piece of scrap paper that I found. Yay, they ended up working together pretty well. And a little snip. All right. I think I'll adhere this with some dimensionals. And it's all set to go on this card base. All right, there. A few embellishments. So I think I will take a couple of these and place them up there. All right. Little bits here and there. And then I think some of the lighter color ones here. I'll just put one because I like to have an odd number, so I'm thinking. And one more, like right there. Okay. I absolutely love this Hello There card, and I created it in another color with another sentiment of just because. This time, instead of the hexagon, the green shades of green hexagons, I used the holographic dots. So another really fun mix of colors using that stamp set. The next card here is really quick with a little bit of Memento Tuxedo Black ink, some black and white basic cardstocks. I've got designer series paper that I pulled out of the Floral Impressions and the Darling Duckling cardstock. I didn't think I would like that Darling Duckling, but I'm finding myself reaching for it over and over again. Pattern of Friendship stamp set. I'm doing a happy birthday card, and of course the extraordinary Flora stuff. This is extraordinary. To begin, I'm going to take that piece of the designer series paper, something a little cushy, a piece of grid paper that I found, the scrap that I have, and I'm opening up the ink to go ahead and put it onto the stamp set. Again, because that is a smaller item, the ink is going to go to the stamp set, which is the bigger item. Stamp that up really well. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it onto the designer series paper. Yeah, I'm going to stamp the paper. It's the designer series paper. So giving it a nice firm press down, and this time I'm going to stamp it again because I want to stamp the entire thing. I'm going to change the direction of where the stamp is going. So I'm going to make it go a little more to the side instead. I'm going to move the grid paper over, and I'm going to press it down here. Very beautiful. One more time because I have a little bit more of that designer series paper to fill up with a stamp. So stamping this stamp set on designer series paper is so cool. I think I'm going to turn it around this time and do this piece here. So take a look at how it goes. Make sure I'm not overstepping anything. All right, nice and full of stamping. While I have the ink pad out, I will go ahead and stamp the sentiment of the happy birthday. So I've got this little piece that's just a smidgen under 1 1/4 inches by 3. And then I'm going to put it onto this piece here that I'm going to be using to frame it eventually when it's done. And to do that, I'm going to make it into a banner cut. And I want to do them together. Let's see, I think that is around the middle-ish, right? I'm not positive, so close enough. And now we're going to carefully hold it on, try not to let it move. And there we go. Okay, that worked out. Let's go ahead and adhere that then so I can be done with the sentiment and not accidentally lose it. Let's go ahead and put it right here. And all right, this is going to need to be cut down. Got that cut here, and when I did that, I ended up with just a little extra piece, so I'm going to just use this for a different project. Set that aside, and now I'm going to frame these pretty little pieces with a little bit of basic black and basic white. Fold the base. I'm going to be able to put these on top here. And this goes inside. I think I'll do the inside really quickly. Going inside the card, beautiful. I find what helps me the most when I'm doing threes or something on the outside of a card, I will go ahead and do the first one, and I try to have all the sides be about the same distance away. Then I'll take the other side and I'll do that next, doing the same thing. I try to have it around the same distance apart as I have this piece. So now I'll be able to put the middle one in, and I'll just center it pretty much eyeballing between the other two, and it will be however it is. So there, that worked out. Okay, time for that sentiment, lifting it up with some dimensionals. I'm going to put a good amount on so that it stays in place where I want it to, and taking this all the way to the side. Very good. That's nice. I have the little container full of the ephemera that I have cut, so I'm going to grab a few of these pieces. Now I think I will go ahead and layer them onto the card. So let's get a little bit of glue dot action happening here. A couple of glue dots on the back here. And I'm going to have that right here by the happy birthday. I think I would really like to have this lifted up with the dimensional. So I'm going to lift it up, sticking the dimensional under it, and lay it right around here, I think. Taking this fun piece, and I will put a dimensional under it, and place it there. And then to finish it off, I think I'll put one more piece directly onto the card base. Okay, I'm going to place some glue dots underneath this last piece, and I'm going to put onto the card right there. Okay. Finishing off with some of the strawberry slush and pretty in pink gems. Some of them almost look like they are a yellowish tint to me, so that's what I'm going to use here. Having some fun with bringing those pieces in. All right, and another small one right here. Beautiful card. How fun is that? And stamping on the designer series paper adds a whole nother dimension to it. I also did this same card using a strawberry slush and the same embellishments. The final project that I'm creating today with you is a box. It is a box base here right now in my hands that has been cut to be 8.5 inches by 9 7/8, so almost 10 inches, but not quite. Then I scored along all 4 sides at 1 inch and at 2 inches. And the lid of the box has been created 7 1/8 by 8.5 inches. Then it was all scored on all 4 sides like the other one was at 5/8 of an inch and then at 1 1/4 inches on all 4 sides. I'm going to go ahead and fold. I'm going to fold at the score lines all of these pieces so it's easier for me to trim away what I don't want on the box. And after all 4 sides have been folded, I will go ahead and cut away the sides areas that are not needed. So it's the same thing on both of them, and I'll begin on this larger piece to help show you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to miter a little bit of the pieces as well. So I'm going to start off with this piece here at the top, bringing it on in. And this is going to be the top part of the lid. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut all the way in on these two, trimming that completely away. Now I'm going to go ahead and also cut this whole piece away as well. And I'm going to bring that piece in, just like I did on that top one. All right, so this is going to be the piece that it gets folded in. I'm going to cut that there and miter it here as well. So that is the same cut that's going to be on all 4 of the sides. And thanks to the magic of video, we have the lid that has been completely trimmed, and the base of the card, the base of the box, which has also been completely trimmed, and it's ready to assemble. Got 2 pieces of the tear and tape, or you could use seal if you wanted, but on each of the outside flaps of the bottom box there are 2 pieces of the tape. And then on the one piece that goes on the side, the shorter side, I've got 1 piece of tear and tape there. And as far as the lid goes, I've got a piece of tear and tape on each end here, and then on the shorter side, again, the piece that gets folded in, it has another bit of the tear and tape. I'll begin to assemble the box bottom now, taking the paper backing off of the tear and tape. I'm going to take it off of the top pieces first, and then the side ones. I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? There. Taking the paper backing off of the entire thing. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the sides in, and I'm going to make sure I've got it nice and straight. And then this side as well. Going to make sure I've got it nice and straight and even there with the side. Now I'm going to go ahead and place that down so it's nice and strong on there. And the same thing with the other end. I'm going to help make sure it's a nice right angle to begin with, and then the other side, a nice right angle. pull it down to help make it sturdier all the way around. A nice sturdy box bottom. With the base of the box completely assembled, as well as the lid, you can see how easily these go together. It just slips right on. Perfect fit. Nice and cozy. And I'm going to decorate the front with a piece of the Darling Duckling that I have almost completely corrugated with, with the embossing folder, and then I've decorated it with the washi tape that was placed on the window sheet. With everything complete, then you can see the box has even been embellished. I've got some of those beautiful strawberry and pretty and pink gems on it. And opening up the box, there are those cards. I had so much fun creating these with you today. All these projects are so fantastic. I hope you got to see how versatile the extraordinary Flora stamp set, dies, and washi tape truly are. They're absolutely fantastic. So many projects. This is just a small sampling of what I'll bet you'll be able to do. So if you already have a demonstrator, that's absolutely fantastic. But if you'd like to use me as your creative coach, I would be honored to help be your cheerleader and help you on your creating journey. Those are some extraordinary projects, aren't they? Super cool, super easy, really fun to create. So do me a favor, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, give the video a thumbs up, and help me out with my small business. Follow me on social media. All these things are free, and it really makes a big difference to my teeny tiny business. So thank you. I appreciate your support more than I could ever even begin to tell you. I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day and that you have a chance to get inky. Bye.